Welcome to the hottest real estate topics on the planet, keeping you up to date with all the creative ways to buy and sell real estate without bank qualifying, so anyone can build real income starting today. Here is another great show with Dealmaker Bill and Pete the Rookie.
All right, here we are at another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies. Even though, Peter, I don't think you're a rookie anymore. But
you think I graduated?
I don't know if you're graduated, but you definitely have more knowledge than the average guy, for sure.
So, like, I'm in second grade now.
Well, I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
You have to dazzle me with some offers and houses purchased. That'll get you graduated. All right, so today's episode 409. Here we go. So I want to make sure we lost Peter.
Oh,
I want to make
here
sure
we
it
are
wasn't
again.
him. Okay, I just want to make sure it wasn't me. So episode number 409. Today's title is The Wackiest and Funniest Real Estate Laws That Actually Exist Today. A little bit, something a little different today.
That sounds like fun.
So here we go. Here's the description. Have you ever heard of a law so bizarre, so outrageous, that you can't believe it's actually on the books? Well, get ready to have some fun during this wild ride through the wackiest and most hilarious real estate laws still in effect across America today.
Jeez. Listen
in while we reveal the strangest property ordinances, nuttiest neighborhood rules that some homeowners, like buyers, sellers, and investors, need to know. From downright absurd to the laugh out loud ridiculous, these real estate regulations will make you question whether lawmakers were hitting the laughing gas when they passed them. Get ready to belly laugh, gasp, and shake your head in disbelief at the most outrageous real estate laws on the books today. Whether you are a seller, buyer, or investor, you will want to hear about these legal loopholes and zany zoning laws. Join us today to see just how far some will go in today's society to make up laws that only deter your expansion and American dream to flourish and prosper. Also, you have been warned.
Yeah.
Warning, warning, warning.
Danger.
Laughter is legally required when listening today.
Okie doke.
All right, so let's do our housekeeping activities. First of all, thank you for being here, watching us, or listening to us and giving us support. If you listen to us regularly, you will know that on 9:30 a.m. most Thursday mornings, unless we're on vacation or something, we pre-record. But on Thursday mornings, 9:30 a.m., we actually record this podcast on a live stream, and we live stream to YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So if you go to any one of those platforms, you can join the podcast. You can watch us and ask questions as long as the podcast pertains to. As long as your question pertains to the podcast, we will answer them live. Just type in wherever the platform allows you to type in the question, and it will come right to my computer, and I can see it. Also, make sure you subscribe and like us. Or dislike us if you really hate us, but make sure you subscribe and you like us and leave us a good review. If you have any questions about anything other than the podcast, you can go to flippinghousesforrookies.com. Top right hand side, there is a support ticket, or you can join our WhatsApp messenger group called Let's Talk Real Estate. There's about 100 and something people in there, and it's a mastermind group for people that want to talk about creative real estate and want to have like-minded people around them. And then lastly, in the description, there's a link to help you with stuff pertaining to the podcast. I usually put stuff in there, some sort of a link in there. Sometimes it's a paid product, sometimes with massive discounts. Often it's free stuff or documents or paperwork. Which, by the way, at flippinghousesforrookies.com, if you go to free stuff, I think there's 26 or 28, I think, free things, documents and forms and scripts and videos and all kinds of things that you can use to get going if you're a brand new rookie. Okay?
Yes, sirree.
That's done. Okay, Pete, today is going to be different. I decided to break things up, so it's different than our normal style of education. And here's why. Even though we will be revealing some cool education, I'm going to start over again. I'm going to stop reading and I'm going to just say it, okay? So normally our podcast is like educational, from the sense that we're trying to change your way of thinking about real estate, get you to see that there's different ways to do real estate, right?
Yeah.
So we're trying to get you to think different about how to do transactions. We're not so much about doing. We're completely sponsor free. I mean, we're 409 shows in, and other than some people that I do business with or that I kind of admire, like some gurus, like Ben Settle was one of them. And there's a few others that we've had. We've met people through time that we've invited on the podcast, but we're 100% ad free. I pay for the entire thing, and the purpose of this podcast is just public relations. Public relations to us means good works well known. So we're just taking our good works and we're making it well known to others. It actually costs me money every month to run this podcast. Actually, quite a bit of money, and the reason why we do that is because, when you're I guess at the top, I'm not saying I'm at the top, but when you become successful, you don't really become successful until you help others. I'm a big Napoleon Hill, think rich guy. I'm a big proponent of that kind of stuff. I read a lot of self-help, and I just have trained myself that, and not even trained myself, it's my nature that if I'm not helping other people, then I don't feel like I'm complete. I could have all the houses in the world and have the best life in the world and be bored out of my mind, and I don't want to do that. So this is one of my biggest contributions to the creative real estate world. Technically it's probably about, because we used to do our shows in the beginning at an hour and a half. It's probably about 450 hours of training that you can get for free.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big contribution, right?
Definitely.
So we want to give you a taste of what I'm talking about here with some non-real estate laws. So we're going to start off with just kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about with these laws and how ridiculous they could be, right? That I ran into to make me think of this podcast.
Yeah,
right?
I've heard of some of those weird ones. I haven't heard real estate ones. That's going to be interesting. I've heard the other ones that are... you can't sit on a park bench with a woman if it's after 8 o'clock, or, whatever. There's weirdo things. Yeah. So what'd you run into?
So the first one is in Arizona, right? There's a law that says no man or woman over the age of 18 can show more than one tooth missing when smiling. So in Arizona, if you have a tooth missing and you smile,
yeah, what do they do?
You could be arrested.
Oh, jeez. So that's why we see all those pictures of people in those days with their lips sealed, huh?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
wow.
With all the stuff going on in today's society, all the, especially, are you a man or are you a woman? We've gone that far.
Oh, my God. I went for my annual physical yesterday. They handed me an iPad and said, fill this out. It says, how? She says, with your finger. And it's like, what are you? How do you want to be talked about? What's your pronouns? Like, oh, my God, can we just get to it? And nobody there liked it. But my annual visit with doctors.
Yeah.
I think they need to know if you're a boy or a girl because it depends on how they're going to treat you. It's not just a personality thing. It's like your life depends on it. I got a thing and she got a thing. Come on.
So what does that mean? If you go in and you tell them you're a girl, they're going to ship you off to the gynecologist?
Exactly. I don't know. What are they going to do?
They're going to go looking for things that aren't there? I want to see you get pregnant, Peter.
Oh, no, I'm a little too old for that. Otherwise, I would try. But they're going to say, you're going to go to the proctologist and say, bend over, miss. Jesus.
So we're not supposed to be saying this in public. We might have to cut this out. No, we won't.
Go ahead.
So could you imagine with all this stuff that's going on today that somebody would actually get arrested for smiling with more than one tooth missing? Mm-hmm. That's Arizona.
No, and it's still on the books. It's probably old, right? 100, 150 years.
I didn't look that up. These were just things that I found.
And they sit there.
Right. Here's another. In the state of Washington, right? Mm-hmm. It is illegal to kill a Sasquatch.
Oh, yeah, I could see that because if you find one, you could be on television. You don't want to kill it. You want to go on television with your pictures. Yeah, that makes sense.
In Washington, could you imagine when I was a young boy, the guy that raised me, Jess, he was an avid hunter, and there were lots of pictures of him being in Maine, with the dead deer, and him holding the head up,
yeah,
and his gun, right? Probably can't do that nowadays, but he did it back then. So could you imagine that picture of a Sasquatch with your gun and holding his head up?
Oh man!
I didn't even fully believe that Sasquatches have even been proven to be around.
Well, if it's the law against killing them, it must be real. Come on. That's like that Christmas movie when the post office has all the Santa Claus envelopes. So the government agrees that there's a Santa Claus because of that. Miracle on 34. Now we got the government believing there's Sasquatch. So who can argue with the government? Because they're never wrong.
We're coming back to Santa Claus, so be careful.
Oh.
Anyways, my wife watches all those alien shows on History Channel. She's just enamored by them. And I saw one, and of course if she's watching them, then, if I'm in the room, I got to watch them too, right? And our living room and our kitchen are all one big room. So if she's got the TV on and I'm in the kitchen, it's like, yeah. And as you're aware, she had cancer and was zapped with radiation for, several months, 3 to 6 months. And so she's fully recovered now, thank God. It was quite an episode in our life. But it left her hearing really rough.
Oh, yeah?
So I tease her all the time. When you're watching TV, I say, you're watching it with the neighbors? Because she's got it blaring. So I can't miss these channels. Anyways, I don't know why I'm telling you all that. But there was a History Channel alien show talking about Sasquatches. And what they said was, is it an alien? And they said that there's portals in the universe, and they think that the Sasquatch are going in and out of the portals.
That will explain a lot.
So
I'm not saying what it would explain, but it would explain a lot.
Pretty interesting how us humans come up with things which, by the way, this is a lesson in creative real estate. If you don't understand something, you make up amazing stories to justify it in your head, to make sense out of it.
Well, you lack data.
Yeah, when you have a misunderstanding about something, you make stuff up for sure.
Yeah, you fill the vacuum with made up things. Yeah.
Here's another one. Mm-hmm. In parts of North Carolina, it's illegal to hold a meeting if some attendees are in costume. Like Bugs Bunny or superheroes type stuff, or even Santa Claus.
Okay.
Now, it doesn't say that. I put that in there just so you understand. But if they're in costume, like a Bugs Bunny costume or, some sort of a character. I'm not talking about costume like you're pretending to be like, John Travolta or something like that. I'm not talking about impersonating
someone. It's just a costume.
Mm-hmm. Those what do they call mascot costumes?
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like I said, I guess Santa Claus has no lap sitting for his kids in parts of North Carolina, right? Because that's in costume and it's against the law in some parts of North Carolina.
Right? Except for December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a crazy topic for just about anything, right? So as I just showed you, there's a crazy topic about everything. So let's do real estate.
Mm-hmm. I've never heard these. What do you got?
So the first one is, in Texas, any and all improvements or accessories shown to buyers become the final buyer's property at the time of closing.
Whoa.
Right? Now, that's any and all, including shelving, family photos,
Yeah.
pictures attached to the wall or the structure.
The furniture, the rugs, the glasses. No,
not that stuff.
No?
Just
No?
stuff attached to the house.
Oh.
So, like, if you have pictures, like, see your stuff behind you, that shelf and all that stuff, like that mirror and all that stuff behind you, that would have to be included in the sale.
Wow. Things
like art or your grandkids, right? You suppose your grandkids have drawings, like my wife has some of those.
Yeah.
How about those kitchen ornaments, right? Or cookware hanging on the walls.
So do you think they enforce that, or somebody could if they wanted to, if they knew?
I'm not in Texas. I don't know. I'm just telling you what the law is, right? How about artificial fireplaces? Or what about those tools hanging in the basement or on the garage wall? Like on my garage, I have a lot of tools hanging on the wall or on the edge of the wall.
Jeez.
Now, wait a minute.
What?
What about that 72-inch TV you just bought that's hanging on the wall?
Oh, crap. So you tell me that if you have to show somebody a house in Texas, you got to go through the house, put all the pictures on the floor, take the TV, put it on the floor, put all the tools on the floor, throw them on the grass outside. Wow.
Or in Texas, you better have lots of ink in your pen or pens, because you might need multiple of them, to exclude all the stuff in your purchase and sales contract. Or otherwise, it will be a lot less stuff you're going to be moving out with. Because it's going to have to stay.
That's bonkers.
Now, again, I'm not in Texas, and I don't think that they probably... maybe they do, maybe they don't. But you know as well as I do, if there's something like this, around in the corner somewhere, somebody will prosecute or do something. Mm-hmm. But that means when you write a purchase and sales contract, you got to go around and you got to eliminate not this picture, not that picture, not this spoon, not that rake, not this TV.
Jeez.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It's insane, right?
Well, a lot of that stuff people wouldn't even want. Like, who wants a picture of my great-grandmother,
I don't know. Here's another one.
Uh-huh.
I would love to see prosecuted.
Really?
In Arkansas, am I saying that right? Arkansas?
Arkansas?
Or is it Arkansas, yeah. Well, it doesn't say Arkansas. Arkansas, but I think it's pronounced Arkansas.
There's a city, I think, Arkansas, in Arkansas, so it could be, yeah. Blech.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
I'd love to see this. I'd love to see somebody on TV saying, "Oh my God, I got arrested for this."
Yeah.
6 or more females may not live in the same property, regardless of their relationship with each other.
Well, as a man, doesn't that make sense? Come on. Come on.
Peter, don't be looking for support tickets where they're bashing you now.
I'm sorry. Some days my mother would be sitting out in the living room, Mary. My wife is out in the living room, Mary. And one of my guitar students comes in. Her name is Mary. I was surrounded with 3 Marys. That was my limit. I was so outnumbered. So I'm with that law. I want to put that through in Connecticut. But can we make it 3?
Peter, you're showing your age, you boomer.
I'm proud of it.
Now, notice that it says property. I'll read it to you again. 6 or more females may not live in the same property, regardless of their relationship to each other or with each other.
So if it says property, what would that include?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. So I have not done too much research on this, but it begs the question to me, does that mean apartment buildings?
Yeah.
How about college boarding schools?
Dormitories.
Right?
Yeah.
Here's one for you. This is my best one.
Yeah.
How about women jails? Do they have one of those or not?
Well, they got them, yeah. But I think they're going co-ed lately.
They may not have them in Arkansas or Arkansas, whatever it is.
Oh, no, they got to have them. That'd be old school. But now they're going co-ed.
Right?
Where do you get this crazy stuff?
The internet. So that's why I tell you, it takes me hours sometimes to write these podcasts because it's not writing them, it's sometimes the research, right?
Yeah.
6 or more females may not live in the same property. And Peter says, I vote for that.
I vote for that. But I want to change it to 3.
Wow. It's weird, right?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, the funny thing is, I don't think, does it say anywhere what the problem is? If you shoot Sasquatch, it doesn't exist, and there's 9 women, like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Yeah. Like, they don't say.
How about this one? In Rhode Island and California, there's no getting privacy from your neighbors because these states dictate how high you can erect a fence. Yep. No more than 6 feet. These states make you move anything higher than 6 feet lower, so it's only 6 feet, or remove the fence. Which means no funny stuff, guys. You can't hide. And oh yeah, no sunbathing nude without everybody checking you out.
That's right. Yeah. I vote for that one.
Sunbathing nude with a 6-foot fence?
I vote against. Yeah, I guess no, none of that. I vote against that. No, none of that.
Right? Now, 6 feet is pretty high, I guess. I mean, I think your average fence is like 6 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's not unusual. Yeah.
But I'm thinking, like some of the commercial properties, like, like repo yards and, repossession for cars. And I don't know. I mean, I know that our church is doing a renovation and they have a fence around it and it's not 6 feet. Not only that, but it has like the slanted thing on the top so you can't crawl up it, right? And that's because it's a it's a big building. It's 40,000 square feet, and there's a lot of tools and equipment and stuff in there that is being guarded, right? And it's in the middle of a metropolitan city, so you never know what's around, right? Talking about fences.
Yeah, another one?
And Scranton, Pennsylvania, you can't have a pointed fence, right? A pointed fence, like at the top of each rung.
Yeah,
like the white picket fence.
Oh.
Right? Picture a white picket fence, Tom Sawyer wouldn't be able to live over there now, would he? He can't paint that fence.
That's a little more work.
Right? Huh. That means that means one of those white picket fences that each lath has a triangle at the top. Like a pointed triangle. So if your American dream is have a few kids, maybe a dog, and a house with a white picket fence, well, don't go to Scranton, Pennsylvania. Can't do it there. Try going to Clark's or Summit or Kingston. Those are next door to Scranton. There you can have a white picket fence.
Somebody must have got themselves stuck on one of those once, and now there's a law for a million people.
Yeah. All right. How about the next one? Do you have a green thumb?
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't go to San Francisco, California.
What?
Because they do not allow potted plants outdoors. I give that to you again. Potted plants outdoors.
So you can't put plants in pots, stick them in front, and water them in front of your house.
Outdoors. It's not in front of your house. Can't do it in the backyard either. Can't do it on the roof. Can't do it anywhere. Outdoors, you can't have a potted plant in San Francisco.
So what if you put it behind your 6-foot fence so nobody can see? Now what? And there's only 7 women living in the house, and you're sunbathing. Is that okay? I'm getting confused. No potted plants.
No potted plants.
You got to wonder who comes up. So one day somebody was running through the yard or walking by and he got hit with a potted plant. So no potted plants. Okay.
But I'm completely confused, personally. Because, I mean, how do plants live? Don't they need sunshine and water?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be better if they're outside? A plant wasn't designed to be put inside.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess they can live inside. You can water them and put them by the window so they still get sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
But how do they live if you're going to take away their sunlight and the water?
Well, I think they're forcing us to plant them in the dirt.
Yeah. I think that's what the problem is. I think Pelosi was afraid somebody was going to plant her in one of those pots and she didn't want to have any.
Oh, boom. There you go.
Yeah, that's what I
think.
He said
it. He said it.
I think Pelosi I think she made that law. Or maybe it was her husband. Maybe it was.
But if she did it, it could have been 100 years ago, right?
That was
what?
Good.
What?
All right.
What'd I say?
We'll move on. Now, if you live in New Jersey, you'll need to take days off from your regular job if you want to paint your house.
Because?
Yep. In New Jersey, there's a no house painting law on Sundays.
Okay.
Could you imagine being on a ladder, painting your house, and the cops roll up? Hey, what are you doing? The cops would say, right?
Get down from there.
And all of a sudden, there's, SWAT team and 4 or 5 other squad cars come rolling up, and there you are up on the ladder with a paintbrush and a bucket.
On the news. Man found in New Jersey painting house on Sunday. Scandal. Right? Scandal.
There they are at the curb with their loudspeaker. Get down from that ladder. Raise your hands. Put that paintbrush down.
Wait a minute. That's too many orders. I can't get down. I can't get down.
But it doesn't say whether it's outside or inside. It just says no painting your house on Sunday. So does that mean you can't paint your bedroom on Sunday? And who would know if you did?
Well, you have to put up a big fence.
So here's another question for you. Does that mean in New Jersey, Home Depot can't sell paint on Sunday? How about Lowe's? Do they shut down the paint department on Sundays?
Well, you can buy paint, but they have to put it in a paper bag to get it home.
Oh, you have to put a lock on there, and it doesn't open. It doesn't open until Monday.
Yeah. It's a time block.
Right. Jeez. Crazy, huh?
Don't they have better things to do?
Yeah. How am I doing so far?
This is cuckoo.
Is it wacky?
This is cuckoo.
It's completely off base for us. I don't even know if I'm going to have enough information to go a full hour here, but
I wish those laws were all in one state, because I'd like to try violating all of those and see what happens.
Exactly.
See if anybody actually cares.
Now, here's the wackiest of them all to me. This is to me. And Waldron, Washington. You ready? Waldron, Washington, which actually is actually an island. Okay? It's a small island, but it's an island. But it's connected. I mean, I don't know if it's an island or a peninsula, but it's like a small section.
Yeah, it's on the water.
When I say it's small, I don't mean it's tiny. I just mean it's, it's not a New York City, right? You cannot have more than 2 toilets per building. So if they had apartment buildings or multifamily houses, I guess they all have to have a shared toilet.
Yike.
You see that now? 20-unit building, 20 families, 20 doors, 2 bathrooms. And a schedule.
They'd have one of those town meetings on that one, huh?
You ever watch Big Bang Theory?
Yeah.
And Sheldon has, Sheldon?
Yeah.
He's got a bathroom schedule. Maybe he's from Walden, Washington.
So like his turn, the next guy's turn, the other person's turn?
Yeah, I guess.
Yipes.
So I think this is a small community, so I'm not sure there's an apartments there. But still, who wants to buy real estate or deal with real estate that restricts toilets?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, I don't know, maybe it's like a summer camp community. You know what I mean? You ever been to a summer camp?
I've heard of
even
them.
like you've never been to a summer camp when you were a kid?
No, we don't do that.
Really?
No, my family. No, my family's from Italy. We didn't have camps. We had. All right, let me take a minute here. I'm a music teacher, so I work with a lot of kids, right?
Here we go.
And here comes summer. We're at the end of May. Here comes summer. So what do you think we have summer for? I asked the kids. There's a kid yesterday. They had a day where they went, swimming for the day, and they gave them hot dogs, hamburgers, and sodas. They did all that stuff for the kids. And I said, that's because you're a good little boy and you went to school all year and you deserve to have some fun. He goes, yeah. So that's why you think you have summer too, because you're a good little boy, you work really hard, and you should rest for 2 months because you're a good little boy. He goes, yeah. I said, no. The reason kids have the summer off, because they had to work on the farms with the parents across the country, tending the crops, picking the corn, all that stuff, feeding the chicken, getting the hay. It was to work. So I'm Italian. And my family grew up in farms, so you didn't go to camp. You fed the chickens, you milked the cows, you picked the tomatoes, and you made spaghetti sauce and dried the tomatoes. That was summer camp, so no, I don't have summer camp, I'm sorry.
So you lived on a farm?
My family did, so I did whatever they did.
Okay.
Yeah, no camps, nope.
Well, I hope you didn't have more than 2 toilets.
Everybody, all our listeners would be glad to know I have 1, and there's no schedule. You just fight for it.
All right, so this one is a little bit more known recently because of the American border crisis going on.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So you've heard this just recently, but I did not know this until just recently.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you right now, very loudly, very Republicanly, I'm not even saying I'm a Republican, but I'm just saying from a Republican standpoint, I would not allow this.
Mm-hmm.
But California is a very Democratic state. And I'm not even like picking sides or picking a fight. I'm trying to be politically correct, but this is too democratic to not say. I guess what I'm trying to say is politically, in my eyes, progressive people politically believe that we should all live in a community and be taken care of.
Oh.
The real progressive people. They believe that there should be, everybody should eat together and you should all use the same elevator and live in the same building and not have to worry about everything and just live in a community. At least that's what I have found, right? Mm-hmm. Except that doesn't happen.
Nope.
So in California, squatters can become legal owners without paying the seller a dime.
Well, I thought there was a lot of states because I've heard problems about that. I know it's hard to evict them, but in California they can actually own the property then, just because they squatted.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, I was thinking after reading this that maybe we might have to add an 8th deal strategy.
Move in.
Yeah, you want to become a creative real estate investor? Just go to California, find a vacant house, and move in.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can own it. No money down, no payments, right? Once you own it, then you can turn around and you can be an investor, sell it or rent to own. Obviously, I'm being facetious, right?
Yeah,
however,
but I've heard plenty of stories.
However, it's not as much as we mock it that way because I think it's a 5-year period. So if you live in a vacant house for 5 years, then you own the property.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I heard a story when I was on my sabbatical. I tried to remember it a couple times. I keep trying to recall it, but I can't. It's very faint in my mind. But I met someone, or someone told me a story of their friend where that exactly happened. Where they had property in California. They were in Florida for a year or 2 year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And when they went back, they found somebody in the house. Now, I keep saying not to get into political stuff, but I keep talking about political stuff, so I guess I'll just stop saying that. But, I mean...
It's common sense. Seriously. It's common sense.
Some may not think that the border is a crisis. I have friends, especially at the smoke shop, at the cigar shop, that believe that that's the American way, that none of us belong to America, that we all came here from another country, which is, I believe, very true. I mean, unless you're a native Indian, I don't think you actually are from America. And I get all that. So that's a bit different. If you're going to come into this country legally, that's okay. I mean, get a Social Security number, pay your taxes, and be able to vote.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
The trouble we obviously have is the people that are here that are not registered. Right? I mean, statistics show, I don't know if they're true or not, but they say there's almost 27,000 Chinese men at the age of mid-20s. And supposedly army recruits, they're military guys. I just saw a statistic, I think it was yesterday, or maybe it might have been this morning, just in the last couple of days, that the Chinese, you ready for this number?
What?
The Chinese own over 349,000 acres of farmland, and 90% of that farmland is around military bases.
I've heard that several times.
Or nuclear bases.
Yeah.
I've heard that, but never 349,000 acres.
Yeah.
They own so much that the Senate is actually going to do something about it.
Yeah.
Right? So obviously we live in Connecticut. Obviously we get, well, maybe it's not obvious, but Chris, I got to stop here. So Chris, first of all, Chris says, I can't believe how squatter rights are even a thing. Well, they are. Right? But then look what he says. That's an invasion. That's right, Chris. I believe that. I believe that. But so anyway, so we're in Connecticut, so obviously New York news is a common thing for us. I mean, you turn on local TV and New York news, right?
Sure.
I mean, when you hear the things going on in New York, I have friends that work in Manhattan, so they're there, right?
Mm-hmm.
When kids can't go to school because illegal aliens are in the city when it's cold in the winter and they have no place to put them, they have to close the schools to keep them from dying.
Yeah, they're in the schools. The kids are home online, and the kids are in school, and the families. Yeah.
70% of the hotels, the hotel chains, and there was a number, I forgot what the number is. It was a big number, are getting paid by our government for the entire hotel to not only give immigrants shelter, but they feed them every day, they do their laundry for them, they send their mail if they want to send mail, as if they were a paying guest. And I think the average room in hotel or a low end is like $200.
Oh, easily. Sure, easily.
And the government is paying like, I don't know, I forgot what the number is. It was a big, I mean, like, you know, there's 300 hotels, and like almost 200 of them are participating in this because it's 100% occupancy for them.
Yeah, they're happy to do that. They don't think of the long-term effects, what's going to happen. They don't care about that.
Right.
That isn't quite right, though, at all. No. You know, and the funny thing is, this is not a Democrat or Republican thing. It's common sense, but you look at any party, Democrat or Republican, go back 10, 15 years, all of them, the presidents, the vice presidents, all of them are saying we got to secure the border. All of them, including the people who are saying there's no problem right now. They all are on video many, many times saying we have to secure the border. Every single one of them. Clinton, Obama, Biden, Republicans, Democrats, everybody said that until just recently. And you can see it on video, so it's not a thing. So
just going back. So in California, squatters are an issue. Now, I think you're right. There are other cities that have that problem, but squatters can actually take your property over, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's get off such a yucky conversation that most may not want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
In Ridgeland, Mississippi, you're not allowed to protect yourself from thieves.
Oh, wait a minute.
You're not allowed to put burglar bars on your windows, on the outside of your windows. Which is a funny thing to me because it says outside your windows. So it means you could put them on the inside.
Man, these are making less and less sense, Bill.
But, I mean, if you put them on the inside, how are you going to open the windows? Or, God forbid, there's a fire, how do you get out?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Right? I mean, I always wondered about that, people that put bars on windows anyways. Like, if there's a fire, how do they get out? Sure. Even on the outside. I've always wondered that, you know. And again, you know, we're from Connecticut. I mean, we're an hour and, I don't know, we'll say 90 minutes with traffic, 90 minutes to Times Square. I could be in Times Square in an hour and 15 minutes if there's, it could be an hour if there's no traffic.
Yeah.
But hour and 15 minutes, hour and 30 minutes. I'm in Times Square. So you go through these buildings, especially in the Bronx and Queens and Brooklyn and, you know, all those boroughs, and there's just bars everywhere. But I drive by them and I think, God, if there's a fire, how do they get out?
Yep.
I've never had that answer. I don't know how that is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All right, now this is a crazy one.
Oh, this one. The other ones were fine, huh?
Yeah, now this crazy one will keep me out of Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, boy.
Now, my sister-in-law, her boyfriend is from there, and they actually lived in Boulder, Colorado for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that I really know about Boulder, Colorado is I think it was one of the first cities to pass marijuana laws.
Oh.
And that's I'm not even 100% sure that's true, but that's what I think. And that's
It sounds
about all I
familiar.
know about Boulder. That's all I know about Boulder. But
Yeah.
here's the thing. No upholstered furniture can be outside. So if I wanted to hang out with my buddies, which I do usually weekly, right, on the back deck and smoke cigars, we need to sit on hard chairs and get numb ass because we have no soft upholstered chairs.
Oh yeah, well that makes sense. Of
By the
course.
way, that was a technical term, numb ass.
Oh, that's like
That's actually in the medical books. You could look at
that's right. Yeah, it's right next to dumbass, numb ass, and no.
Yeah.
There's no ass. There's fat. I better stop.
All right. Moving on to Aspen, Colorado.
Oh, speaking of ass,
Yeah. It is illegal to throw snowballs at your house. Actually, any building. This means you can't throw snowballs at any public or private property, people, or vehicles. I guess that lawmaker got bullied when he was a kid and snowballed, didn't he?
he got hit right in the eye with an ice ball. Well, the unfunny thing is, most laws are because one or two or three people had a problem, and everybody's got to follow this law. And every year there's more and more and more. You can't. As a kid, you could go on the beach and light a fire with some wood and cook some hot dogs. Now you can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do this. It's just very restricted. I think we should start all over again sometimes.
Chris says that's no fun. But I want you to look at the icon there. Can you see the icon?
We the people are pissed off.
That's good, Chris.
Mad as hell and pissed off. Okay, good.
Imagine being a cop in Aspen on a cold, snowy day, and your radio dispatcher sends you to a bunch of 9 to 11-year-old kids having an honest-to-goodness snowball fight. Now, they're not on their phones. They're not playing video games. They're actually outside in the snow having a snowball fight. And you're a cop that has to go break that up. Chris says, in Ohio, we used to ambush the buses with snowballs.
And then run like hell?
Yeah, exactly. I think they were hiding behind the bushes so they couldn't be seen to begin with.
Or behind that 6-foot fence.
In New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, or Hawaii, it's against the law to cut your grass on Sunday. And drilling down, pun intended, drilling down to a few more laws, when you drill this one down, it gets absolutely insane. You can't fix your roof in these locations on a Sunday.
So there's no painting, there's no roof fixing. And what was the last one? There's no...
So in New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, or Hawaii, it's against the law to cut your grass on Sunday. Plus, in these same states, you can't fix the roof on these locations on a Sunday.
I think I know why. It's because they have... The package stores are open, you can buy liquor. They're afraid you're going to fall off the roof because you're drunk.
Okay.
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
I'm trying to make sense of these.
Don't try to make sense of them.
In
Schenectady, New York, it's against the law to fill nail holes with putty on Sunday.
Oh, come on. Come on, stop. Stop,
I
seriously.
told you it's a wacky thing. In Schenectady, New York, It's against the law to fill nail holes with putty on Sunday.
You know, Bill, that finally explains the painter we had in that Hamden house. that when he was done painting the house, there were nail holes all over. He must have been there on a Sunday.
He painted on a Sunday.
And thought he was in Schenectady. Did he? That explains that painter.
Here's an amazing one. And it's my last one. In Hawaii, you can't own a leaf blower. Or if you do, you can't use it. That's against the law.
Well, you know, I like that one. My neighbors hired some guy to mow the lawn, and the guy does such a crappy job, the grass is all over the lawn, and it takes an hour with this loud blower to blow it all away. My wife's in the office going, what the hell does that sound like? It's the moron. Anyways, the guy next door, an hour, and the thing is loud. I like that one.
I have to tell you, living in Florida quite a bit, because I was just there for 8 months, and my wife and I, you know, we're pretty much snowbirds, so we try to go down there. Not every year, but a lot of times. There's a lot of that in Florida. A lot of that. Now, you wouldn't think that, you know, there are seasons and stuff down there, but like during Christmas time, it rained a lot, and we had a tree out back. I think it was I think it was a southern oak tree or maple. It was something.
Yeah.
But it was just like the fall here because the whole backyard was just full of leaves.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and it was like the month of December because when it rains, the leaves just come off the tree. Now they're not bare like they are on the East Coast, but they're shedding the leaves, and so like so that time of the year you hear a lot of blowers. Oh. And it's and like the neighbors around, you always hear them things, and cutting the lawn, you know, you hear that quite a bit. Right?
Sure.
So as you can see, these peculiar and hyper-specific real estate ordinance demonstrates how local laws can sometimes produce truly bizarre rules and restrictions for homeowners across the country. Now, my beliefs, and this is a bit weird, so just take it up that way. My belief is if you want to understand, like in the name of farm markets, because obviously I'm a co-founder from Creative REI Reply, which is a software that allows you to actually, we give you leads every day, and we text for you, and our robot, I call it robot, they call it AI, answers the text and makes appointments for you. It does the same thing for selling houses. So one of the things that I teach in those groups are, if you're afraid to buy property or you have some concerns about how to do creative real estate, what you need to do is you just need to find a seller, sign an option agreement with them for 90 days, which you give them anywhere from any paper money, so it could be $1. We give them $100 because it's more professional for the option consideration deposit. And then we go find a buyer. And we don't consummate our deal with the seller or promise anything until we find out what the buyer is willing to do. Right? So, what we get a lot of is people that are like, where should I do this? What farm area should I do? Where should I work? Where should I go look for deals?
Right.
Because we do a live support call every Thursday night, Sean and I. So we answer support tickets every day. So we're very active with the software. We're not one of those software companies that just like, here's your software and good luck. Our software is very hands-on. It's done for you. We do 90% of the work. Or the software does 90% of the work. But there's always questions and stuff. I help people on Thursday nights. I help them structure deals. I help them with this. Sean helps them with the software. We do all this. It's a very, very unusual, old-fashioned type of business. We're using technology to find properties and help you weed out prospects and suspects, or weed out suspects so you can find prospects. And our robots do a lot of the work, but Sean and I are very active with our clients. If they need something or if there's something wrong, the support tickets, there's Sean and I, and then we have one support person, Sunshine. And I'm kind of a little bit of on a rant here because I want you to understand, not to sell you the software because this is a podcast and I'm not trying to sell you anything, but just to let you know we have lots of users that have not been able to find a deal or not been able to do a deal, sometimes for a decade or two, and get involved, and within 30 days they have a deal. And they get nervous. So I tell you all this because one of the biggest questions I get is, where should I pick? Because we ask you to pick a zip code, and we give you a 50-mile radius around that zip code. So my standard answer is you should always do your backyard, which means a property you can drive to within reasonable distance, usually within an hour, is my criteria. So you should always do your backyard, but you should also do another area virtually. Okay, so I'm making a very long story out of this, but I'll get to the punchline here in a minute. The point that I'm trying to make is that, the other thing is you should do a high market and a low market. So it would be good if you did a market that's, $800,000, $900,000, $600,000, $800,000, $900,000 houses, and one that does $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 houses. You should have both markets. Preferably one is in your backyard and one is virtual. Mm-hmm. So what you could do is, if you so desire, especially some of the nerds we got, and especially the paralysis of analysis people that have to know everything about everything, is one of the gauges of a society, or a civilization for that fact, right? When you look through history and you look at the laws, like if you were to go back to the Roman Empire, right, 2,000 years ago, right, and you looked at their laws, you would find these quirky things that we're talking about. And you've already said it a couple times in this episode. Like, I wonder what problem they were trying to solve. Mm-hmm. But if you look at the laws that are on the books, you can get some sort of an idea of how the community was run. And more importantly, how management was, aka the government.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, thank God nowadays, technology is the way it is. And I'm a, if you haven't figured it out by now, I'm a History Channel buff. And I love to watch that stuff. And I was watching some documentaries on Caesar, right? Julius Caesar. And I was at one point I was reading about some of his stuff. I was fascinated with him for a little while, right? And Julius Caesar broke all the laws. I mean, he conquered most of Rome because he didn't go by the rules.
Wow.
Dan Kennedy will tell you blatantly, Dan Kennedy's a big marketing guru, Dan Kennedy will tell you blatantly, do the opposite of what the herd is doing. So I'm not suggesting you go do this research and then you spend, a month, trying to figure out all the laws of a community, but knowing how the laws, or knowing some of the real estate laws or the ordinances of a community will give you a good idea of what you're going to run into, because too many rookies think about just the money. Oh, I'm going to get this house for $150,000. I'm going to sell it for $200,000. And that is not even a fraction of what that property could do for you, number one. And number two, it's not a fraction of the things that you need to pay attention to. Yet rookies that have not done a deal or don't have experience think of the obvious. Like, it's kind of like when you first get into real estate, you think, oh, I got to go find a realtor. And it's like completely opposite of that, right? Yeah. Or I got to build a team. That was your big thing, coming off at Kiyosaki's seminar. Yeah. I got to go find my dream team. And especially with digital, that's not even true anymore. You don't need to worry about that. You worry about things like, you worry as a rookie, you worry about things like, I need to get an entity or an LLC, and you got to do that first. With my coaching clients, I tell them, no, you don't do that first. What you do is you don't need an entity or an LLC until you put a deed in your name.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, you do that during the closing. You have the closing agents develop the LLC for you and make that part of the expense of that closing. You put that property in that entity and you make that property pay for the entity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Prior to that, you may do 10 lease options and you don't need an entity to do a lease option. So it's backwards. Right? So what I tell you is without, and I tell you only this because there's things like AI. Now, I tell you all the time to use Perplexity. Right? Perplexity is a new search engine out that most people don't know about. It's perplexity.ai, right? Perplexity.ai. It's very smart. It's run by, I forgot who it is. They've put a lot of money into this, and it's a great search engine. I mean, it's much better than Google, right? So you could put in a website like perplexity.ai, like what are some of the ordinances for Hartford, Connecticut, because that's where your background is, or better yet, if I'm going to be a landlord, what are some of the ordinances I have to pay attention to? Now, we're not going to be landlords because we sell on lease options. In fact, not episode 410, but 411, I'm actually going to go over what it's like to sell your properties because we don't do that too much. The name of that podcast, which is 411, is How to Lease Property and Not Do the Landlording for Gargantuan Profits. So I'm going to actually talk about this some of this stuff in episode number 411. But my point is that in a very long dissertation here, what I'm telling you is that the laws are the remnants of how that community will be for you to work in. Is it restrictive, and does it have a bunch of antisocial government people that are just trying to stop landlords and think that they're stealing? Are they progressive and feel like the community should be together and they shouldn't have to pay? So is the laws, which by the way, I'm not even going to apologize for it. There's no way around it. Blue states are much different than red states when it comes to tenant laws, right? So all I'm saying is that even though we mocked these ordinances and these laws today, it's actually part of something you should pay attention to when you start acquiring properties. It would be not good to do what I did and get the properties and own the properties and then find out these laws exist. And then you end up with a bunch of problems. Like, for example, Meriden, Connecticut, which, by the way, Connecticut is probably as blue as you can get, right? But we're not on the maps too much because the politicians don't do ridiculous things except just charge the hell out of us, out of our taxes, right? The point is in Meriden, Connecticut, I've got, some apartments, I don't know, 6 or 8 of them or something like that. And every 2 years, they send me a letter saying that I have to buy a certificate, a $25 certificate of occupancy, and I have to have an inspection every 2 years. Yep. So like right now, I just had an inspection. When I was away, I got an inspection, and I got violations. That's probably going to cost me, I was telling you this morning, between $3,000 and $4,000. What are the violations? Oh, there's no screens on the windows. The tenant painted the kitchen and painted over the GFI plug in the kitchen, so I got to put a new GFI plug in. Now, some of the stuff is legitimate. Like, I have to caulk around the tub. Well, the caulking around the tub is discolored. It's like yellow instead of being white. Okay, so I can understand that, right? There's things like the front door. They don't like to paint on the front door. They feel like it's not protective to the weather. So I have to repaint the front door. And that's what most landlords don't want to deal with. Now, for me, it's a different story because I have a portfolio and all the money goes in, all the money goes out, and it's just part of doing business, and I'm okay with that. I manage my own properties because I don't have, I think I got 8 of them. There's not enough for me to get a management company. I've had management companies, and for me, they're more work than what I can do myself.
Yeah.
Right? And I got to pay them a bunch of money. And management companies are great, but management companies are made to have fees. A good management company knows how to fee you to death.
Yeah.
Right? And at the end of the day, I'll say this, and I'm going to shut up because I'm off topic right now. But at the end of the day, suppose you have a job in a factory.
Mm-hmm.
And you're on a salary, we'll say, or make so much per hour. It's the same thing. You have a set number of money that you're going to get for your work, right?
Sure.
So each week you get paid, or bi-weekly you get paid, right? So let's say that inflation goes up. This is not hypothetical.
Hypothetical. just hypothetically.
And you used to put $20 worth of gas in your car, and now it's $50. Mm-hmm. But you make the same amount of money, right? Mm-hmm. Or where you eat lunch, you used to pay $5. Now you pay, you used to go to McDonald's for $5. Now you go there for $18. Mm. But you make the same amount of money, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say that, that's good enough example, right? So the point that I'm trying to make is your income stays the same, but it's coming out of your profits, out of your ability to spend money somewhere else. So obviously, if you're paying an extra $25 a week for gas, right, and you're paying an extra, we'll say $15 a day for lunch, or $10 because you decided to go to the grocery store and bring your own food, right? That's an extra $50. Well, that's $75 or $100 out of your paycheck that goes to nowhere, just out of your control. Mm-hmm. This is what people don't like about apartment buildings, because that's what's happening to me. I'm telling you, I'm going to spend $3,000 or $4,000, but I can't go up on the rent. I can't. Where am I going to get that money from? It's money out of my pocket. That's my income. That's what I live off of. Mm-hmm. So now all of a sudden, I'm going to have to go, we'll say a month without any profits from all my buildings. If I'm making $4,000 a month on all my property, which is not the case, but if I was, that means I go this whole month because of one unit without any profits. Mm-hmm. Right? And it's because of the ordinances in my city that I didn't know about when I bought it, right? Because this is one of the first ones I bought, that I didn't know about and that I had to do every 2 years, do these inspections. It's like Section 8 is the same way.
Right.
A tenant asked me the other day if I would take Section 8, and I said no. And I was with my contractor, and he got outside. He said, "Why don't you take Section 8?" I said, "Section 8 is great for 11 months out of the year in Connecticut. The 12th month, they come in and they do an inspection, and they tell you to fix all the shit that's wrong because they did an inspection. And it's things like put screens in the house. Well, this house hasn't had screens in it. I've owned it for 10 years, and there's never been screens in it.
Oh.
And now all of a sudden I got to put screens in it. So now I'm like, there's some windows that have it, some windows that don't. And I have no idea why I got to have screens on the windows.
Well, yeah, that's weird because there's been inspections every 2 years. What about those? What happened there? All of a sudden somebody cares about that.
No, the old inspector's gone and there's a new one now.
Yeah, a lot of businesses, it depends who you talk to. You don't like who you talk to, call somebody else, but then someone else could get involved, and then they got something to say.
Anyways, that's my 2 cents. The summary of my 20-minute dissertation here is that you could get a picture of the community by its ordinances and its laws. Now, I don't think you should go spend months trying to figure that out, but if you use something like Perplexity, especially, you could use AI too, but AI doesn't connect to the internet. The other one is Gemini. Gemini is another, let me give you that URL. Gemini is another, that's Google's version of AI. It's Gemini, GEMINI.google.com. That's another AI. But they're connected to the internet, so you can get current data.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I've seen that.
And you can go you can go search on some of the ordinances and things you're going to run into before you pick a farm market. Now, again, this is not something that should stop you. It should not take days and weeks and months, and you don't need a list of them. But if you just read through them, the laws are solving some problems that community once had or is still having. And it'll let you know what the government is like, or what the rules are like that you're going to have to deal with, and how easy it's going to be to deal with management to get things done.
Yep.
Okay. So hopefully that makes sense.
Totally.
All right. Good. So we're gonna bug out here. Thank you for watching or listening to us. Podcast number 409 is now officially over. Don't forget to subscribe to us wherever you're watching or listening to us. Don't forget to like us. Don't forget to leave us a review. And make sure you check out the link in the description of this podcast, because there might be some goodies in there for you. And have a good week, flourish and prosper. And if you need any help, go to flippinghousesforrookies.com, and there's a bunch of support and help in that portal. Okay? Have a good week.
Thanks for tuning in to the hottest real estate topics on the planet with Bill and Pete. If you want to continue learning how to buy and sell real estate without money or credit, head over to flippinghouses.club for some cutting-edge real estate wealth tools. Or contact us at info@flippinghouses.club.